In October 2020, the trophies and achievements for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War were leaked online. Among that list was a total of 5 trophies related to a bonus mode called Dead Ops Arcade 3, a top-down, twin-stick shooter that originated 10 years prior with the first Black Ops title. The description for one of the leaked trophies read, "Defeated the Mamaback and saved your dear friend." Worth a total of 15 gamerscore on Xbox, or a mere bronze trophy for users on PlayStation. With such a low value placed on defeating the boss, players assumed that when the game finally released, it would be both quick and easy to beat the game. However, what casual players and achievement hunters would soon find out was that reuniting with Fidolina would be anything but easy. In order to complete this elusive DOA trophy, the player would have to complete 16 arenas that increased in difficulty, which includes traversing the dangerous wild area, passing the blood pool level where enemies camouflage and rapidly spawn from below, along with killer meatballs raining down from the sky above. The Sleepy Hollow arena, where you must fight a werewolf that regenerates health, all while navigating through jagged mountains which hinder movement. Then there's also an encounter with a giant skeleton on round 60 that shoots lethal eyeballs at the player. Add to this the fact that players on launch had to play the mode primarily in top-down perspective, a gameplay style that many COD fans were not accustomed to or comfortable with. This certainly wasn't your typical Call of Duty Zombies map. One hit usually meant death, and with a limited number of lives in armory, it was easy to comprehend how one's match could crumble in the span of just a few minutes. If players managed to get through all these obstacles in their path, they would still have to face the main boss of the game, the Mamaback, who in the DOA lore is the mother of the slain Cosmic Silverback from DOA 1 and his hospitalized brother, the Cyber Silverback from DOA 2. The Mamaback has a variety of moves that pose major threats, including jetpacking into the air, throwing banana bombs onto the map which slow down the player, and she also has been known to use boost attacks from time to time in order to ambush the opposition. When the game was first released, if you managed to die on the boss fight, you had to start all the way back on round 1, and getting to the boss fight typically took anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. As such, it came as no surprise that the completion rate for the achievement on Xbox stood at the lowest possible percentage rate on the platform. 1 week after the game's release in November 2020, only 0.01% of Cold War users had defeated the Mamaback. The player base was perplexed as to how they would ever obtain this difficult trophy.
The trophy has been an utter nightmare for me and my family. I've never really been any good at these old school arcade games, so when I saw that Cold War required beating DOA, I knew it was over from the start. I was grinding the game for weeks and weeks on end and making very little progress. I was pulling my hair out over this. Embarrassingly enough, it even got to the point where my girlfriend left me, because apparently all I was talking about was trying to lay the mama back to rest. The thing that people don't understand is that getting PlayStation Platinums is no joke. It's a lifestyle. I couldn't look myself in the mirror at night, knowing that I still had unfinished business waiting for me on Dead Ops Arcade the next day.
Achievement hunters on Xbox and platinum chasers on PlayStation who desire every trophy for a specific game were desperate to find ways to get this ultra-rare trophy. The sheer difficulty of the game on launch, with a steep learning curve associated with learning new arenas and a different AI system, made it particularly tough for even a decent video game player to defeat the Mamaback, even after several attempts. As such, many in the community sought help from more experienced veterans, those who had played the DOA series at a high level for many years. Such players were flooded with requests for help, whether that was through direct contact, Reddit posts, forum threads, hell, even the dark alleyways of the YouTube comment sections. Players were flustered and willing to fork over some cash money for this torturous trophy, anywhere from $10, $50, or even well over 100 buckaroos. The Mamaback certainly stimulated the economy during difficult times. No doubt about that. as opportunistic players created online postings on sites like Fiverr and eBay, where somebody would pay to receive help with the achievement. Sounds simple enough, a fair transaction even, but as the saying goes, Mamaback corrupts all. So naturally, scams ran rampant, as some players would give their account details to these so-called pros to play on their profile and get the trophy for them, only to have their account be compromised. We spoke with one individual who sadly fell victim to these phony services.
Like many other people, I was stuck in this stupid trophy for a few months. After a few hours of trying, I finally reached my absolute breaking point and looked online for people offering carries for cash. I found this one guy on eBay who offered to help me for 80 bucks. So I gave this dude the login info for my PSN because I didn't really have time to be in a match with him for the whole goddamn day. I mean, I work almost 200 hours a week. Anyways, to make a long story short, I gave him my account details, and this prick ended up changing the password and took my $80. And then also had the audacity to purchase Fortnite skins with the money in my PSN. That fucking bozo! All this could have been avoided if they actually tested this trophy before releasing the damn game, and seeing that it was impossible for gamers like me.
Players were certainly down on their luck, and had to get creative in how they went about obtaining this trophy. One method employed included the use of the rejoin feature to continuously replenish 3 lives. Another technique utilized was joining a friend's session during the tail end of their match, usually right before the Mamaback spawned in. A cheesy yet effective way to work around the system and get a quick completion. A lot of these methods were eventually patched. I always would have liked to have known who the miserable Grinch was who reported these exploits. But as far as the achievement was concerned, as the winter was nearing its end, perhaps some light was to be seen at the end of the tunnel. Roughly 3 months after the game's launch, the achievement completion rate had only increased from 0.01% to 0.05%, far and away the lowest completion rate of any of the Cold War trophies. After many requests from passionate Call of Duty fans, changes were eventually implemented which made the path to the boss a little less aggravating. Apart from general bug fixes and quality of life improvements which buffed the player, there was also a new mode added in February 2021 called Solo Advanced Start. This playlist allowed players to start at their highest arena checkpoint on solo, meaning if they had died in a troublesome arena like Bloodpool, they would be able to start back at the very beginning of that specific arena. This mode allowed players to have repeated, low-pressure attempts at overcoming these levels, without having to invest multiple hours in a single day.
You know, I gotta give Treyarch credit. The Solo Advanced Start mode was a great addition to the game. I've been using it the past, 6 or 7 months, and my current highest round is 57, so I only have a couple more arenas before I secure this platinum and finally move on to Vanguard.
Later that month in February, another DOA playlist was added, where the player could play exclusively in first-person perspective, with benefits including the ability to take multiple hits before death, health regeneration, sprinting, and a permanent minimap radar. It goes without saying that this new mode made DOA a lot more appetizing for the typical Call of Duty fan, who was long accustomed to the game being an FPS title. With these playlist updates, the achievement completion rate on Xbox rose dramatically from 0.05% on February 5th, then more than doubling to 0.13% in just about 1 month. Many months later, the best of both worlds collided, as there was a first-person Solo Advanced Start playlist added in July, which, as the title suggests, lets you start at your highest arena checkpoint, but with all the benefits of playing in strictly first-person view.
First-person Dead Ops is the bomb, dude. I'm not about that corny top-down BS where you die in one hit to something you can't even see on your damn screen. I think for the next game, they should just make first-person the only way to play DOA, and throw that other mode right in the dumpster next to Garbage.
So, how exactly did this trophy come to be? In the first 2 installments of the DOA franchise, there were trophies for simply loading the game up, and of course in DOA 3, that took a leap all the way towards the other side of the spectrum, as you had to complete the entirety of the game. As mentioned earlier, the gamer score associated with this achievement is only 15G, half that of another DOA achievement called Dungeon Diver. worth 30G. However, this Dungeon Diver trophy can be completed in just about 15 minutes, and is drastically easier than defeating the Mamaback. So why the discrepancy? Also, consider the following. The text description for the trophy itself contains a spelling error, where Mamaback is spelled with an O rather than with an A, as seen in the official name of the game mode and other marketing materials. With these rather peculiar inconsistencies, one could only speculate that the inclusion of this trophy was a sadistic oversight, perhaps even a clerical error. So where do things stand now? Most everyone who wanted the trophy has gotten it at this point, whether they did it on solo, first person, advanced start, or maybe they got carried to the trophy by a more experienced player. For all the sorrow, misery, grief, agony, and pain associated with this trophy, perhaps some positives came out of this achievement as well. A lot of new people were introduced to the wonderful little world of the Dead Ops arcade series thanks to the trophy's existence. And some of those people who were helped out ended up paying that forward to other newcomers and assisted them on their quest to defeat the Silverback clan. Some of these players who got into the game for the trophy still play the game to this very day, whether they're casually exploring the wild or even getting high rounds in world records. It can certainly be argued that the inclusion of such a controversial and difficult trophy helped take the community to heights it wouldn't otherwise be at today. Or maybe the trophy was extremely difficult and needlessly included in the achievement list, making some people lose their damn marbles. Well, in any case, as the saying goes, in order to make an omelet, you gotta break some chicken eggs. Think about it, and I'll see you around.